Hello, Pastor Aaron here with your Thursday devotional thought. So today I am continuing the tree metaphor that I started a while ago with making sure we get the right nutrients in the soil. These nutrients of grace, truth, and time so that we can grow a healthy trunk of character and bear good fruit for God and others in our lives. So the last 2 weeks I covered the first two grace-filled quadrants of soil nutrients, and today and next week we will talk about the other two truth-filled quadrants. So quadrant 3 is provide reality. So any successful endeavor in life must be oriented to truth and welcome truth. This includes marriage, dating, parenting, friendship, careers, and leadership, wherever you find yourself leading people. People who do well in life seek out truth and orient to whatever it says rather than cherry-picking truths that fit their own ideas and feelings. Truth is simply what is. Our first relational nutrient in this quadrant is clarification. Number 1, clarification. This is when you help a person think clearly enough to see an answer. You may have heard it said, seek within you. All the answers are there. You'll find them. That is nonsense. Too many people have suffered from seeking within instead of seeking God in His Word or seeking the counsel of wise people. Clarification happens through conversation and someone asking you really good questions that get to the heart of matters, right? So have you ever had a life challenge and just wanted to unpack it with somebody who knew how to clarify versus someone who would just give you advice as soon as you started your story? Like, how annoying is that? I just need you to listen and help me work through what I'm working on, right? All right, nutrient number 2 is perspective. You remember the story of David and the prophet Nathan? When Nathan told him a story about a rich man who stole a lamb from a poor man. You remember that one? And David was just outraged and wanted to bring justice to this rich man. How could he do such a thing? And then Nathan said to him, "You are the man," in the story. Because it was really about David and his affair with Bathsheba. That is perspective right there. Have you thought about things from this angle? Is a question you might ask people. Perspective is to offer someone a different and more helpful way to view a situation. All right, third nutrient is provide reality. Third nutrient in the provide reality quadrant is insight. This is when you make sense of the real situation, real sense of a situation. It's getting to the core of the problem. You may think that, like, for example, your marriage issues are mainly between you and your spouse, when in reality it encompasses more than that. It's because you have a low view of yourself, most likely from your childhood for whatever reason, and you desire to please others at work, and you get that affirmation, so you take on too much at work, and then you struggle with healthy boundaries, thus taking time away from your family. That's insight. Nutrient number 4 is feedback. Feedback is the surgery that successful people constantly seek out, okay? Healthy, helpful feedback provides answers, course correction, and improvements in all sorts of things, in our organizations, in our families, and in our own heads. Jesus was really good at this one. After the feeding of the 5,000 in John chapter 6, crowds clamor around Jesus and he says to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, you are seeking me, not because you saw signs, but because you ate your fill of the loaves." That's what's really going on. Kind of harsh, but sometimes we need corrective feedback, right? Given harshly. The most helpful way to provide this is positive feedback followed up with corrective feedback. Pump them up and then give them the reality. The worst is not giving those who we love and those whom we work with any feedback at all. That's terrible. Finally, the last nutrient I have here is confrontation. So confrontation is facing another person with a reality alongside an appeal and warning to change. Sometimes the only and best option in a situation is a confrontation. And it can be one of the most healing and transformative experiences for us. We confront for all sorts of reasons. a teen who has been defiant, a colleague who's not operating as a team player, a spouse who's spending at unhealthy amounts, just spending way too much money, or perhaps a boss who's not providing role clarity for you and resources for you to do your job, or perhaps a friend who needs to set better boundaries with her kids. These are all examples. Confrontation is familiar to feedback, except two distinctives. Number one, feedback can be an affirmation and a positive, or it can be a challenge and a negative. Confrontation, however, is always negative. While successful people seek out feedback, not many people seek out confrontation, right? It is usually driven by the person wanting to confront and not by the one being confronted. I don't usually ask for confrontation. I do ask for feedback. Your life or your career can be saved, actually, if you hear and respond to the right kind of confrontation. And successful people, they confront really well, and they work this into their relationships. They face issues in their relationships directly. And being confronted is a whole lot different than when someone is doing quadrant 1 things for you, like being present, or quadrant 2 things, like encouraging you. But having people in our lives who provide reality and clarification and confrontation is so important. So I hope this was all insightful for you and that you can use this in your day-to-day interactions and give God glory through it. But thank you for listening, and may God bless your day.